It's time for Come and Talk It with your host, Michael Cargill, brought to you by Texas Law Shield. Over the last decade, Michael has championed and supported the rights of law-abiding Texans to own and use firearms. He is the owner of Central Texas Gun Works, a veteran of the United States Army, and has achieved national exposure in such prestigious media outlets such as Forbes Magazine, Fox Business News, CNN Money, AOL, BBC World News, Huffington Post, and the New York Times. Cargill vigorously defends lawful gun ownership in this country without regard to party politics. And now, here's Michael Cargill.
Good day, Austin, Texas, the live music capital of the world. Let's praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. So over in Michigan, 3 dead, 8 injured. I think it's 4 dead now, 8 injured in a shooting at a Michigan high school. So 4 and 7. So 4 dead, 7 injured in Michigan in a high school shooting. But you know what? We're hearing from family members. We're hearing from neighbors about the family because the father purchased a firearm just days before the shooting, and the mother posted a picture on Instagram saying that, hey, this is a Christmas present, for their son. But then the day of the shooting, the parents were called to the school to have a conference with the administration there about the son, some issues of, some drawings that the son had made. And they still allowed this kid to attend school that day. But the parents didn't think anything of it, didn't think to go home and check and make sure that the firearm was locked up. It is up to you, parents, to make sure you lock all your guns. You cannot hide guns from kids. You have to lock guns from kids. You can't hide them. You have to lock them. And every gun comes with a lock, so there's no reason not to lock your gun. Our manufacturers make it their business to make sure that every gun you get comes with a lock. They make sure of that. So lock them, or you can get a safe. You can get a handgun safe or a full-size safe. There's so many different tools out there, and that you have that you can lock your firearms out. But you know what? Take a listen to this, because here's the baby mama of the father that was, one of the people that was responsible for this heinous crime.
We're learning more about James and Jennifer Crumley from a woman who has an 18-year-old son with him. Michelle Cobb says he left them strapped for cash and struggling to make ends meet.
He's a piece of He really is. The whole time of my son growing, my son is 18 years old now. And I cried the moment he turned 18 because I thought all of this hell is over as far as dealing with my son's father.
And the father of her 18-year-old son, Eli, is James Crumley. James is also Ethan's father. And Michelle Cobb says it was Jennifer Crumley who made her son's life unbearable when he would visit his dad and half-brother Ethan. She says it was Jennifer who ran the show.
Jennifer was a monster. She could do no wrong, and she was right about everything.
Prosecutors say it was Jennifer Crumley who posted the picture of the pistol on Instagram, writing "Mom in Sunday," testing out his new Christmas present.
They pretty much gave him whatever he wanted.
Cobb says while James and Jennifer gave Ethan whatever he wanted, it was a hopeless struggle to get James to pay even $67 a week in child support when he was making 6 figures.
My son is 6'3" and 240 pounds. Do you know how much $67 a week pays?
More than ever, she's thankful Eli left the Crumleys' Oxford home right before the start of the pandemic. And Eli says he never even saw any guns when he was here.
The first thing that came to my mind when all of this happened was how thankful that I was that my son was not there.
Cobb says she's heartbroken for the families whose children were killed and those injured, and she says Ethan and his parents must be held accountable for their roles in the tragedy.
I hope they get the maximum, honestly.
Boy, let me tell you, you might want to be nice to your baby mama, because when you get in trouble, she's coming for you. She is coming for you with full force.
Yeah, she didn't have kind words there, did she?
No good words whatsoever. Also, Alec Baldwin, boy, he releases a statement, and he does an interview talking about how, he didn't pull the trigger of that firearm. Yeah, but my problem with Alec Baldwin is his story has more holes than a target at a gun range. I'm telling you now, if it don't fit, you must have quit. All right, so In Austin Police Department, the Austin Police Department refuses to assist gun stores with verifying stolen firearms. This has been a very big topic for me. This has been a ball on my three-pointed contact because we get people that walk into the gun store that want to sell the gun store a firearm. And we will, we try to verify to make sure this firearm has not been reported stolen. So we try to do the right thing. We contact 311 to get in touch with the Austin Police Department or the non-emergency number of the police department or the sheriff's department to find out whether or not this gun has been reported stolen. Because we know that at 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, people go around town, whether it's, it doesn't matter what state you're in, what city you're in. People go around your city, your state, and they try to break into your car and steal your gun or break into your house and steal your gun. And so we're just trying to verify as a particular gun that walked into the gun store has been reported stolen. Do you know that the police departments will not give us that information, will not tell us if the gun has been reported stolen? I've gone through not 911, but 311 to get to the non-emergency number for the police department. And then when I reach the police department, they say, well, we can't give you that information. What do you mean? You can't tell me? I'm a gun store. I'm a federal firearms licensed dealer. I do background checks on people. I sell machine guns. I sell suppressors. You mean to tell me that you can't tell me if a gun that someone's trying to sell to me has actually been reported stolen? And they won't do it. They refuse to do this. And it's something so easy. All you have to do is say, yes, it's been reported stolen, and no, it hasn't. We can go about our day. Maybe they can come and get this guy or come pick up the gun or whatever, because I don't want to be in possession of a stolen firearm. And so they say, well, the only really way to find out is you call 911 and request that a police officer comes out. But then I have to wait an hour. How am I going to hold this person at the store for an hour to verify this gun is reported stolen? I don't want to do that to all my customers. I'm not sure. We should have access. The gun store should have access to a system where you just simply type in the serial number and it tells you, yes or no. Just simple as that. We're not asking for that much. And unfortunately, no police departments in the state of Texas will help us with this problem. No gun stores are getting any assistance at all. The gun stores are not getting any help from our local law enforcement. So when your police chief or your sheriff says they're trying to do something about crime, they're full of it. They're not trying to do anything about crime. Because if they're trying to do something about crime, they would help the gun stores answer this one simple question, and they're refusing to assist the gun stores with verifying stolen firearms. And also, to my friends in Lubbock, Texas, I didn't forget about you. I remember Kyle Carruth. We covered that story last week in the shooting, of Mr. Reed. And Kyle Carruth, I have one message and one message only for you, Kyle Carruth. And that message is... That's right. God's going to get you for that, Kyle Carruth. He's coming for you. The DAs may have recused themselves. You may be married to a judge, but I'm telling you right now, here's your message, Kyle Carruth.
God's going to get you for that.
He's coming for you. Eventually, God's going to get you. This is Michael Cargill, and you are listening to Come and Talk It.
Hi, this is Stephen Williford, the Barefoot Defender. I get my global gun news from Michael Cargill at Come and Talk It.
I'm a U.S. Army veteran with a strong sense of duty and respect for our system of government. After 12 years, I was honorably discharged and decided I would fulfill the American dream of entrepreneurship and open up a gun shop in Austin, Texas. At my shop, I teach people to be law-abiding and how to safely use their firearm. On page 46, we're going to talk about Penal Code Section 46.02. The day that ban went into effect, I went into my local ATF in Austin and turned over my bump stock because I'm a law-abiding citizen. But I wasn't going down without a legal fight. So that's why I reached out to NCLA.
NCLA is representing Michael Cargill because federal agencies do not have the power to rewrite statutes. Bump stocks are not machine guns. If Congress wants to change the law and ban bump stocks, it certainly can do so. But we can't have the executive branch rewriting a statute and putting people in jail for up to 10 years.
It's a problem because, this government agency has said, you know what, something that is legal is now illegal, and we're going to confiscate it from you, and we're not going to compensate you for it, and you're going to become a criminal.
The goal of our case here is to tell the ATF that they can't get away with this kind of administrative lawmaking. This isn't constitutionally permissible, and this goes against everything that our nation was founded on.
The bump stock ban turned innocent law-abiding citizens into criminals overnight, even though they were compliant with the statute. And that's not right.
This case is not about where you stand on bump stocks. It's about the rule of law. It's about whether an agency can rewrite a statute and turn a law-abiding citizen into a criminal. If the ATF can ban bump stocks, any agency can ban anything.
Welcome back to Come and Talk It. And now here's Michael Cargill.
All right, so we're back and we're going to talk about Alec Baldwin. I want to talk about this family in Michigan, actually going to a gun store days before purchasing a firearm for their son, and their son actually goes to the school and commits just mass murder, at his high school there. I want to talk about that. And also, Alec Baldwin says, I let go of the hammer, bang, the gun goes off. I want to talk about that. You know what? Our call-in number, call in and tell me what your thoughts are. Our call-in number is 512-643-5483. That's 512-643-5483 or 512-643-LIVE. Give me a call and tell me, what your thoughts are about Alec Baldwin. Tell me what your thoughts are about the family in Michigan, and even if you want to talk about Kyle Rittenhouse, you want to talk about the Ahmaud Arbery shooting. You want to talk about Lubbock, Texas. Speaking of Lubbock, Texas, boy, I'm telling you, Kyle Carruth, Lubbock, Texas.
God's gonna get you for that.
That's right. God's going to get you, Kyle. He's coming for you. They're reckoning. But we have in the studio Jake. Jake.
Hello.
What's up, Jake?
Thanks for having me.
That's right. What you got? You got
No, I want to.
You want what Jake got to say?
No,
Air Bunny's Jake.
So Jake,
yeah.
welcome to Come and Talk It. So you had some things to say on social media. You had some things to say about our radio show. And I like going to comment sections and making my little comment and then inviting people to the radio show. Come on the radio show. Tell me what your thoughts are. Tell me how you feel. Tell me, because, my stance is strong and I don't back down.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Not one bit.
No.
I'm an alpha dog. Roof. That's right. So what are your thoughts about what we're talking about here?
Well, I know I'm a little late to it.
That's
for
right.
the Rittenhouse stuff.
But you got something to say about Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yeah. I just, I don't know if if your listeners believe that the insurrectionists, that they're patriots. Well, for the Rittenhouse, like those people burning those buildings and those protesters, those are patriots.
Really?
Yeah.
So you think the people that were burning down the buildings and burning down businesses are patriots?
They had just as much heart as those rioters.
Oh my goodness!
Burning down private businesses.
Burning down private businesses.
Hey, I mean
that takes heart.
That takes a
heart
lot of
to
heart.
set a fire and ruin
right, and to
business.
and to invade the Capitol. That takes heart too, right?
Yeah, that's why Kyle sent them to where they belong. Kyle Rittenhouse did a fine job. Now he's a hero.
Active shooter
Hero.
who was these heroes were trying to stop this guy
Stop him what?
Stop him do what? He was
from potentially, killing innocent people.
His job was really to just guard a parking lot, guard a car dealership, and also be a medic.
He lied.
All right, let's go to the phone lines. This 512-643-5483. Give me a call. Let's talk about this. Let's go to the phone lines. Jeffrey, what you got, sir?
Yes, sir. This is Jeffrey in Austin.
What up, Jeffrey?
Hey, Jeffrey.
Yes, sir. I'm in Havana. Talking with Henon.
Oh, yeah, my little stumping ground there. What you got for us?
I gotta tell you, sir, we are on speakerphone. I gotta tell you that right now.
All right, and then
Is that okay with you?
That's fine. I like speakerphone. And tell me, what do you think about Kyle Rittenhouse? What do you think about Ahmaud Arbery? What do you think about what we're talking about today, Alec Baldwin?
Alec Baldwin thing is the one that got me, sir.
Why is that?
Because I don't know what's going on with that guy. Like he's corrupted by. I'm talking about corruption here, right?
The fact that he discharged a firearm and he says he really didn't pull the trigger, it just went off by itself.
I don't care about that, Michael. I care about he's a Baldwin family member, and it's like there is a legacy of corruption. Is that not true?
I don't know anything about that. I know he doesn't know gun safety. That's what I know.
All right. Well, hey, you told me to call in. I wanted to call in because you're one of the good buddies of mine. Tom? I don't know, Tom.
All right, Jeffrey. Thank you, Jeffrey. Appreciate you. Oh, my goodness. I'm going to need a drink after that one. Oh, my goodness. All right.
Okay, so basically what our guest Jake is saying is that these brave patriots stopped a potential person from doing harm in Kenosha, right?
Yeah.
So you think the same thing about Ahmaud Arbery? These guys that drove and chased him down also were patriots, and they stopped him from committing illegal acts.
They claimed they witnessed him committing a crime, so that's why they chased him. They thought he was doing something illegal, and they had a right to arrest him.
They thought they had a right.
They witnessed something, just like those guys chasing Kyle Rittenhouse thought they were responding to an active shooter.
Yeah,
they were responding to something they thought this guy went into a house.
To a guy just checking out something under construction, and then just.
But they thought the same thing. They thought they witnessed a crime.
No, I think that was unjustified.
Well, how can you not? I'm confused.
No, because Kyle showed up provoking people that were there protesting.
How did he provoke?
Showing up with a firearm.
Oh, so owning a firearm is provocation?
No. Walking into a public space with a firearm.
What about Mr. Groscroft? He had a firearm. So was he not provoking as well?
Ah, he had a Glock, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
One of your heroes, right?
So wait, what about him?
Who's that?
He's not the one that touched the children. He's
the other.
Yeah, he had a couple.
Yeah, but it was.
And
it was concealed,
illegal.
right? But it was concealed, right?
It was illegal. He was not legally allowed to even carry or own a firearm.
That's neither here nor there.
Oh,
Kyle wasn't supposed to have
here nor there.
He wasn't supposed to have a gun.
Why not?
Because he didn't purchase the weapon.
He didn't have to purchase it.
At what age can you have a gun in Wisconsin?
In Wisconsin, you could be 17 and you can have a rifle in Wisconsin. What you cannot do is it cannot be a short barrel rifle. So his rifle was not the short barrel rifle. It was a regular rifle. So that gun was legal in Wisconsin. Why it took until the day before the jury or the day that the jury is going to get this case, the judge threw it out, I do not know. But it was always legal. He never should have been charged with that in the first place.
So it's totally legal for him to have the gun there.
Totally legal for him to have that rifle there.
But
totally
what about Gage Grosskreutz? Was it legal for him to have a Glock after he was?
It was not, because his handgun license had been expired and he did not renew it. And because I don't think he was a felon as well. I don't think he could renew it.
Yeah, he was.
I'm not sure.
He was convicted of felonies.
That I don't know. But
so I just think he was. That was one of the good guys with the gun.
You gotta look at those cases the same way.
A good guy with an illegal gun, right? Oh.
Yeah, look at those cases the same. Kyle Rittenhouse is being chased. Ahmaud Arbery is being chased. Kyle Rittenhouse felt that
Had no reason to be there.
Neither did the protesters.
Yeah, they did.
Why? Why do you feel that the protesters had a right to be there, but Kyle Rittenhouse did not?
Not with the gun.
What gives the protesters more rights than Kyle Rittenhouse?
Look.
What gives Kyle Rittenhouse less rights than protesters?
Because he just showed up with a firearm.
So what gives him less rights?
No,
what is it?
Nothing. It doesn't give him less rights.
So he has the right to be there, just like.
Oh yeah, he could be there.
Okay.
But that's provocation. Showing up with the weapon, and then like, I mean, if you look intimidating like that, then I mean, people are gonna react.
You see,
and they heard gunshots. They saw where it was coming from. They saw him with the weapon.
So
they thought he was the
coming
active
from
shooter.
another area first. Across the street from where he was, there were some shots being fired.
Mm-hmm.
Not by him.
No, it was him. It was that first shooting.
No, he's not the first shots fired. See, that part of the problem is you got to educate yourself on this case.
Oh, and you
you have an opinion, but you don't know all the facts.
That's right.
So when that happens,
okay.
it kind of that can get in the way.
That can definitely get in the way. Now, we'll come back to that. All right, so Alec Baldwin says, I let go of the hammer, bang, the gun goes off. So Alec Baldwin is a good actor, but his story has more holes than a target in a gun range. Take a listen to this.
I start to cock the gun. I'm not going to pull the trigger. I said, do you see that? She goes, well, just cheat it down and tilt it down a little bit like that. And I cock the gun. I go, can you see that? Can you see that? Can you see that? And she says, and then I let go of the hammer of the gun and the gun goes off.
Baldwin insists that he is not responsible for shooting and killing a woman because the gun fired on his own. And the movie star is banking on the power of his celebrity and the public not knowing enough about firearms and gun safety to get away with it. The experts say it's a legal misfire. Baldwin told ABC George Stephanopoulos, you just heard him. He said he was aiming the gun at Hutchins because she told him to do so for the rehearsal. He said that he was told later that it was aimed right below her armpit. He told her he shot her in the stomach, and a bullet went through her and lodged in Sousa's shoulder. He said all this. You just heard him. The trigger was never pulled, according to him. He said, I never pulled the trigger, insisted Baldwin. The very first thing people say, when a gun discharges is they say, you know what? I didn't touch the trigger. I didn't pull the trigger. That's what everyone always says. But in fact, whenever you go to the gun range, that's the first thing that people do. They put their finger on the trigger. It's a very common mistake for new people. It's unconscious. They do it, without even realizing that when they grab a gun, the first thing they do is they put their finger curls in the trigger guard area. It happens with all new shooters. So what we do to prevent this from happening? We have this little technique that we use. And I encourage all of my instructors out there that are listening to use this technique. And that is, if a person is right-handed, we tell them to take their right index finger and touch the side of the gun on the slide, and then grip the handle of the gun. That way their finger does not go on the trigger. And it teaches them and trains them not to put their finger on the trigger.
Yeah, and I'm one of the instructors there for the beginner firearm class. And basically, the way we say it is index finger straight and off the trigger. And then you put that down on the slide, and then the other three fingers curl around the pistol grip.
This is Michael Cargill, and you are listening to Come and Talk It.
Peace, this is Maj Toure. You're listening to Come and Talk It Radio with Michael Cargill.
Whether it's a typical traffic stop or you're just involved in a use of force incident, encounters with law enforcement can be scary and stressful. In the heat of the moment, you may inadvertently say something you don't mean or make an inconsistent statement. These are red flags for officers, and if they think you're lying or your story doesn't add up, they might arrest you and let the criminal justice system decide your fate. Police officers are trained to get information from you without making the interaction seem like a formal interrogation. But remember, from the moment an officer arrives on scene, everything you say and everything you do will be scrutinized in court. The prosecuting attorney will attempt to use anything and everything against you. So what do you say? You say, I invoke my right to remain silent, and then let your attorney interact with law enforcement on your behalf. One important note though, do not throw common sense out the window. For example, if the intruder's hiding somewhere in your house when the police arrive, Or if you saw the perpetrator pitch his weapon into your backyard, quickly tell the police and then stop talking. You might ask, what about my rights? What if the police never read me my Miranda rights? Miranda rights is the common name for a collection of rights contained in the Miranda warnings, given to suspects when they're placed under arrest. The warning comes from a 1966 Supreme Court case, Miranda v. Arizona. In that case, the court held that statements from a custodial interrogation would not be admissible unless proper procedural safeguards were in place to protect the defendant's Fifth Amendment rights. We've all seen these warnings on TV and movies. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to have an attorney. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law, and so on. So do police have to read you your rights? No. It's important to note that officers are not required to read you these rights unless you're in custody and subjected to interrogation. If the police show up to a crime scene and start asking you general questions and you voluntarily tell them everything that happened, those statements...
Welcome back to Come and Talk It. And now here's Michael Cargill.
So, all right, so we're back, and we're talking about a Waukesha parade. We're talking about Alec Baldwin, and people always say, whenever these shootings happen, they say, hey, you know what? It's always the guns. They always blame the guns. But in the Waukesha parade, I don't see people going to the car dealership and blaming the car dealership for what happened at that parade.
Au contraire, Michael.
Are they?
Actually, the Washington Post released a headline saying that it was caused by an SUV.
Oh, it says an SUV's fault.
Yeah, caused by an SUV are their exact words.
Okay.
The headline of this story, it says, here's what we know so far on the sequence of events that led to the Waukesha tragedy caused by an SUV.
So I expect that they're going to go to the manufacturer and sue the manufacturer and protest the manufacturer. I expect they're going to go to the car dealership and protest and sue the car dealership.
The same way they try to go after gun manufacturers, you mean?
That's right. That's right. So, what's good for one should be good for them all. Why not blame the car manufacturers and the car dealers?
Apples and oranges.
DWIs. Do you know more people die in Austin in automobile accidents than they do by firearms?
Oh, a lot more.
In the state of Texas? In the United States? More people die in automobile accidents than they do by firearms. So why are we not going to the manufacturers of car dealerships, the manufacturers of vehicles, and actually protesting those manufacturers? Why are we protesting the dealerships?
No, and I think they are they're not coming after the gun. They're coming, there just needs to be more restrictions on, the background check.
No, they are going after the guns.
No, they're not going after the gun.
Who did they try to sue? Remington, right?
Yeah,
Didn't Remington get sued?
That's right.
Yeah.
Even New York, even the state of New York. The state of New York passed a law that says that if a gun is sold in Texas and that gun winds up in New York, somehow using a crime or something like that, then New York can come back and sue that dealer, the gun dealer in Texas. And do you know that firearms is the one item that you purchase that you do the federal firearms background check to get? A federal firearms background. You get a background check, FBI background check to get that.
It's not good enough.
What more do you think? Because the federal government knows everything about you. Everything.
Are they using Facebook or?
They use everything. All those little porn sites you go to.
Are they using Facebook? Have you ever seen the Prism slides? So basically all social media, all tech companies have created backdoors in their programming to allow the government to access all of their information, all of our information.
Good. But that still doesn't protect us.
So we have a big fan of privacy in the studio with us today, Michael.
big fan of privacy, right?
Yeah.
Right. You want the government to be all in your in out, just all in there.
That's fine.
Oh my goodness. I don't even know. I don't know.
That's fine.
I don't know how to do this with you.
Can I see your text messages real quick?
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you really believe this?
I don't even use a code for my phone.
Really?
Yeah, it's always unlocked.
I'm gonna check with your girlfriend, wife, or whatever, and we'll find out.
Yeah,
see if she knows. So you don't need a code. The card your phone. So your
you don't
girlfriend?
wanna give it to me, do you?
I don't want to know.
Your girlfriend
has
privacy. So she has access to your phone.
No.
Now the truth comes out.
So you want privacy for your phone, right? But you want to say that no one else should have privacy, right?
So that means the shooter, and Thomas Harrison says, so then the shooter of Selena is innocent. She didn't mean the shooter.
Of Selena, the singer?
That's right. Touch home, huh? Yeah.
Yeah,
That touches home, doesn't
okay.
it? Yeah, because you're from down south, aren't you? Yeah.
And wait. So what did she say that?
So then the shooter of Selena is innocent. She didn't mean to shoot Selena.
No, but she's crazy, right?
I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah, she was crazy.
That's what I thought. See,
is crazy good or bad?
You have to think about that. You got to think about what
Bad.
you're supporting and who you're supporting and all that good kind of stuff. I don't understand how some people on the extreme left will actually think that, protesters are right by doing what they're doing, that you have a right to destroy property. How can you fix yourself to say that you have a right to destroy someone else's business? Because you're upset what's happening in society. You're upset what's happening in society. You have a right to destroy someone else's livelihood. That makes no sense to me.
No, and it's not. It was out of passion. It's out of passion. And also, they have insurance. They don't need a little kid to protect them with a gun. They have insurance. Let it go.
I can't with you. I just can't. I don't even know what to say.
I can't with y'all.
I'm speechless.
And then with all these shootings that are happening, you still don't think that there should be more like restrictions on or stricter background checks and stuff? You think it's okay? You think whatever they're doing now that's fine?
Our call-in number is 512-643-5483. That's 512-643-5483.
Okay, Fabian. So what do you think that they should have done to enhance the background check that would have stopped this from happening?
I don't know.
So you don't know. So you want more restriction, but you have no idea what could have possibly stopped this.
Yeah, because I don't know what they look into.
They
already.
see if you're a criminal. They see if you're a domestic abuser.
Okay.
If you're
because those are
drugs.
Yeah. Okay.
If you have been dishonorably discharged from the military. If you are illegally in the country.
Okay.
If you've been mentally adjudicated or adjudicated mentally defective. Like if you've been forced to be admitted into a mental hospital for psych evaluation, basically.
Well then,
So what I'm
what
kind
else?
of
Like
hearing,
what else is in there? Right? Like I mean, what more could they do?
well, let's see if you have a criminal record too.
I know. I mean, no, that sounds fine, but yet there's still these crazy people.
So
the people, these gun nuts are they're like the weakest, softest people. Like
these gun nuts.
These gun nuts, yeah. Like they get bullied and then they go shoot. Like
This
they
is
go shoot up.
This
like,
is a psychotic 15-year-old, right?
I mean, I guess so.
He is evil, right? How do you stop evil? How do you stop someone from doing evil? We could add to the form a questionnaire. Are you going to commit crimes with this gun? Yes or no, right? We could do that.
They should do that.
They should do that, and that would possibly be your solution, maybe? Is that what you're thinking?
Look.
Yeah, our call-in number is 512-643-5483. Come and talk it. Let's go to Jay. Jay in Austin, Texas. You on with Come and Talk It. Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead, Jay.
Man, for this kid, like, dude, have you ever gone through, like, the gun buying process?
Me personally?
Yes.
No.
Okay, well, I've bought several guns from Michael, and I will tell you, it is not an easy process.
Well, then why is it that? And I'm assuming you're one of the good guys with the gun, right?
If I can pass the background check, yes.
I mean, because you walk into the gun store, you have to fill out a form.
Yeah.
Okay. And you have to put everything about you, your first name, your middle name, your last name, your date of birth, your height, your weight, your address. You put your
I can lie about all of that, sure.
You can lie about it, but if you lie on the form, you're committing the crime because that's going to be a felony.
Yeah.
And then we're going to contact the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigations, and they're going to verify all that information. And they're going to verify if the information that you put on the form is actually correct.
So then should we be
there's no way of lying when I hand you my Texas issued driver's license.
Well, then where are all the good guys with the guns? Where are they at?
They're all over the place.
They're not allowed in schools, first off. You can't legally have a gun in school. So all the good guys are then, if they're going to follow the law, they have to not bring their gun into the school, right?
Right.
So that's where they are.
Okay, so then you're advocating for guns should be allowed everywhere.
Guns should legally be allowed anywhere that someone can carry them.
There would just be shootouts. This is...
Oh, is that what happened when Texas passed constitutional carry on September 1st of this year, where they're just shootouts down Congress? They were on 6th Street before that by people with illegal guns.
Minors in possession of firearms. Should have been in possession of firearms in the first place. Yeah. And as gun owners, we need to be responsible. And when parents, you want to go and you want to purchase a firearm, you want to get a gun for your kid. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with a father or mother, buying a gun for their son or their daughter for Christmas or whatever, and you make sure that you supervise them if they're a minor. And bring into this, I want to bring Jerry Patterson in this conversation real quickly here to talk about, like Michigan and the Michigan shooters. Jerry, welcome to Come and Talk It, sir.
Well, good to be here again. I'm watching your show, but I turned the volume down so we wouldn't have any feedback. There you go.
Yes, sir. And so, Jerry, what's your take on Michigan, and how this...
Well, the first thing I lament is that psychotic 15-year-old should have shot his parents instead. The more I read about this case and what they did, what the parents did and didn't do, is their level of culpability is over the top. I mean, now I just read something today that the parents, when they had that conference a few hours before the kid started shooting other kids, the parents were asked by the school officials to take him home, and they said no. So the kid was returned to class. Now, if I had just appeared with been in a conference with my child who had drawings with blood and bullets and bullet holes and said he wants to kill somebody and wrote somewhere, please help me, I need help, I wouldn't have left him at the school. It's just the most egregious example that I've seen in a long time. And, over the last 4 or 5 days, I have posted on my Facebook page 3 instances of where children, and this guy was a children. I mean, he's 15. He was a child under the law. But in the other 2 cases, there were single-digit kids who killed other kids because they had access to a firearm they shouldn't have had access to. One of them was a 3-year-old shooting and killing a 5-year-old. The other one was a similar age and a similar accident. This was homicide in the case of this 15-year-old. But again, it's the same thing. People with access, young kids with access to firearms that shouldn't have access to firearms. I mean, I have probably 150 firearms and probably several thousand rounds of ammunition. And I don't have any kids in the house now, but I did. I've had 4, and I secured those firearms. One of the ways to secure your firearm is to have it on your person at all the times. I carry all the time. Therefore, I always know where it is. No kid's going to get it. I don't leave it in my car because if you leave a firearm in your car, you're just basically giving it away. I recommend you leave it on the hood so they don't have to smash the glass to steal it. So the parents here the kid is going to go away for life maybe or for a hell of a long time. But this is parental. I mean, it's just amazing. Irresponsible parents result in death. And that fact cannot be denied.
And when we come back from the break, I'm gonna get Jerry to tell us about Penal Code Section 46.13 in Texas and how the law is applied in Texas and how that actual section of the law came about. And also, I want to talk about law parties. And maybe we should get to the point where, like law parties, just like if I'm a bank robber, I'm a getaway driver, and my partner goes into the bank there, robs the bank, shoots and kills someone, then I'm going to be charged equally as the driver, as the person that actually went into the bank and actually shot and killed someone. Maybe we should do that for parents. We come back from the break, we'll talk about that. This is Michael Cargill, and you are listening to Come and Talk It.
Folks, this is Doug Man Jones. And I get my gun news from Michael Cargill at Come and Talk It.
Hello, my name is Edwin Walker. I'm an independent program attorney with Texas Law Shield. I want to talk to you today about an issue that we see on a daily basis. In fact, you yourself will encounter it on a daily basis, and that is the subject of road rage. I am sure that you have all seen road rage. You may have actually been involved in a road rage incident. Now, if you're a responsible gun owner, I'm going to give you a few words of advice on how to react when you find yourself in one of these unfortunate road rage incidents. While on the roadways, we all observe something that makes us upset. Whether it's poor driving, unsafe driving, or just simply somebody being very discourteous. By all means, you should restrain yourself from engaging that person and telling them how bad their actions were, because this can be perceived as an act of road rage. If you're a lawful gun owner, you have a firearm in your vehicle, you do not want to be viewed as the aggressor in a road rage situation. Now, with regard to a situation where an individual has chosen to rage against you, and you are the actual victim of the road rage, if you and the other individuals are still in their automobiles, do not use your firearm to respond to any of the rager's activities. This is because law enforcement views the fact that you're both still safely in your metal boxes as removing any threat of immediacy that you may be harmed. So please, if you have a gun, somebody is raging against you, forget you have a gun. Don't display it, don't brandish it, don't show it, don't point it, and for God's sake, don't fire it. This could result in a lot of trouble for you. Now let's look at a situation where a road rage incident has escalated. It has escalated to the point where one of the participants has actually gotten out of their vehicle. We recommend that you stay in your vehicle at all times. Do not exit your vehicle, because the person who exits their vehicle is going to be looked at as the aggressor. If the other individual has exited their vehicle, and they are not in contact with your vehicle, and they do not have a weapon, then do not feel that you can display your weapon in an act of self-defense. People are allowed to just simply stand there and scream at you, scream whatever they want. Until they make a demonstrative effort to try to harm you, there is no immediate threat that would justify displaying or shooting or brandishing your firearm. Now, in the event that the person shows their own weapon, in particular a firearm, the existence of their weapon would...
Welcome back to Come and Talk It. And now here's Michael Cargill.
All right, so we're back and we're talking about Michigan. We're talking about everything, really. All these little court cases. Kyle Rittenhouse, Ahmaud Arbery. We're talking about Alec Baldwin. And let's go to South Carolina. South Carolina gun shop owner charged with a prank leaves his friend dead. So charges have been filed against a South Carolina gun shop owner who fatally shot a friend after mistaking a Glock 17 for a BB gun. I can't even make this stuff up. This is not, we're not reading.
Stupid or something.
We're not talking about, jokes here. We're talking real news stories here. This actually happened. So jail records show John Whitley, who owns Coastal Firearm, was arrested Monday on a charge of involuntary manslaughter Berkeley County deputies responded to the business on November the 2nd and found Stefan Mergen with a gunshot wound to the face. Mergen did not survive the shooting. Whitley told deputies that he thought he was holding a replica BB gun when he tried to prank his friend and a part-time employee by shooting him with it, according to an affidavit obtained by the Associated Press. So witnesses said that the men were talking normally when he heard a loud bang and then saw Merkin fall to the ground. The witness ran to Merkin, secured Merkin's weapon, and began first aid until EMS arrived. And Whitley was given a $15,000 bond. Jerry Meehan, who is representing Merkin's widow, requested that Whitley not be allowed to possess a firearm as a condition of his bond, which the judge granted. Which is kind of odd because he owns a gun store.
Maybe he shouldn't own a gun store.
So if you own a gun store, that's going to be kind of odd. How can't you be in possession of firearms? I'm curious how that's going to work. So can he not work in the gun store? But how do you mistake, give me a call, 512-643-5483, because I don't know everything. I'm not all knowing, 512-643-5483. How do you mistake a BB gun, a Glock 17, for a BB gun? How do you mistake that? The weight is different.
It takes work.
It takes dumbness, ignorance. I don't understand how do you mistake that?
Well, who knows? Maybe that's a good way to get your charges lessened. If you say, "Oh, I didn't know," right?
And why would you
excuse?
Point even a BB gun at someone, at their face?
Yeah. Ooh.
Why would you even point a BB gun at someone's face?
Uh-huh. That will do.
He was
damage
shot
itself.
in the face, people. That makes no sense to me.
Right between the eyes.
It makes no sense. Killed this guy. Why would you point a BB gun at someone's face? I can't. You can't even make these stories up. All right, but we have Jerry Patterson on the phone. Jerry Patterson is a former Texas land commissioner, and we're asking Jerry about the Texas Penal Code has a section 46.13. Making firearms accessible to a child. And I'm curious, how did that section of the law come about, Jerry? Because Jerry, I nicknamed Jerry as he's the father of the handgun license law, and which he is, and undisputed father of the handgun license law. So Jerry, how do we come up with 46.13?
Well, I passed that bill. The same session I passed the Texas, what was then called Texas Concealed Handgun Law, what is now called the LTC. And I had a constituent who lived in my neighborhood, not just in my district, whose son was killed by another kid who shot him accidentally with a shotgun that had been left in the home, unattended, unsecure, and loaded, and apparently, if I remember correctly, with a round in the chamber. And so what this does, what the bill did was provide a penalty for knowingly, I don't know what the level of knowingly, culpably, and I don't know, I can't recall what the language used, allowing a child to have an access to a firearm, and the criminal penalty is a misdemeanor. And frankly, I kind of had mixed emotions about it, because if you are responsible for a firearm that a child gets access to and kills another child, you're going to suffer pretty substantially anyway. I mean, just knowing that. And this is one of those cases where kids were at the house unsupervised, and I think what happened was one of them mentioned, my dad's got a whatever, he's got a shotgun, or he's got a pump, 12 gauge, whatever it was, and the other kid says, "No, he doesn't. Show us." And the kid says, "No, I can't do that. I'm not supposed to touch the gun. I learned I'm not supposed to touch the gun. I don't ever touch." So this went back and forth. "No, he did. Yes, he does. No, he doesn't. I mean, no, he does. No, he doesn't. Yes, he does. Da 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 da." And the kid finally, "Okay, I'll show you," and that led to tragedy, and the kid was killed. So that passed in 1995, the same year the concealed handgun law passed.
And people, you forget, that peer pressure is something very serious.
Exactly.
You may talk to your son, your daughter, and they may listen to you, but then what happens when their friends come along and pressure them, as a group, they get involved in that group think to pressure them to do something that they're not supposed to do. It happens. Think about yourself. We do this as adults. you know, even as adults, we get along with other adults and we tend to do things that we know we're not supposed to do because we're pressured by the group. It happens.
Yeah,
And
that's precisely correct. And I hear people all the time tell me, well, that would never happen in my house because I've taught my fill in the blank, son, daughter, whatever, gun safety and gun training and never to touch it. I'm sorry. It's quite possible that your kid will be one of the ones that absolutely, no matter what, will never touch that gun. It's also quite possible that one of your very responsible, smart, obedient children will slip up on one time and succumb to curiosity or peer pressure, and tragedy happens. If you got a firearm at home, secure it. Now, I notice I didn't say lock it up. It could be lock it up, but secure means many things. I know when my first bunch of kids were when they were small, I had a 45, a 1911 45. I kept it up by the bed, and I had the magazine in the magazine well, but no rounds in the chamber, knowing that my kid at that age, there was no way that they could pull that slide to the rear and chamber around. Then they got old enough to where they were strong enough to do that, and then you have to make a choice. And I made the choice to lock it up, and it was remained locked up till till he was a senior in high school and joined the Marine Corps and was going to leave right after he graduated. So you have to secure those firearms. I mean, it's just, I hear it all the time. I mean, every day you almost hear about a kid gets access to a firearm and tragedy results.
Right. I mean, if you truly care about, our Second Amendment, you care about our rights to, keep, and own firearms, you'll make sure you do this because you're affecting us all by doing this. All it takes is these stories running over and over again, big incidents like this, cases like this, days. The father goes to a gun store, purchases a firearm from his son, just literally days before his son goes to a school and shoots up the school.
Yeah, 4 days. And he purchased it for the son. And it was left in a drawer, a nightstand or a dresser drawer.
And he purchased it with the son, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right. You're right. And apparently the son and the mother had gone target shooting sometime in that 4-day period. And these parents knew the kid, he just got this gun. Or I don't know that he wasn't supposed to possess it, but putting it in the drawer on your nightstand is not sufficient. That's the first place you'd look.
Right. And we have a serious parenting problem in this country. They want to blame it on guns. They want to blame it on, you can blame it on cars. You can blame it on whatever you want to blame it on. Really, there's a parenting problem. Parents are not raising their kids properly.
Yeah. I often wonder about all the money spent by the lobby, the gun control lobby, whatever one it is. If they took all that money and invested in PSAs on, you got a kid at home, safely store your firearm, we would benefit a great deal. And of course, safely store means different things. I mean, just as I said, you'll have the extreme, and there's a PSA running now, I think, that says you have to lock up your firearm and lock up the ammunition in another place. Now, that's just stupid. I mean,
all right. Thank you, Jerry Patterson. Jerry Patterson, former Texas Land Commissioner. This is Michael Cargill, and you are listening to Come and Talk It.
This is Brittany Glaze, and I get my global gun news from Michael Cargill on Come and Talk It.
I'm a U.S. Army veteran with a strong sense of duty and respect for our system of government. After 12 years, I was honorably discharged and decided I would fulfill the American dream of entrepreneurship and open up a gun shop in Austin, Texas. At my shop, I teach people to be law-abiding and how to safely use their firearm. On page 46, we're going to talk about Penal Code Section 46.02. The day that ban went into effect, I went into my local ATF in Austin and turned over my bump stock because I'm a law-abiding citizen. But I wasn't going down without a legal fight. So that's why I reached out to NCLA.
NCLA is representing Michael Cargill because federal agencies do not have the power to rewrite statutes. Bump stocks are not machine guns. If Congress wants to change the law and ban bump stocks, it certainly can do so. But we can't have the executive branch rewriting a statute and putting people in jail for up to 10 years.
It's a problem because, this government agency has said, you know what, something that is legal is now illegal, and we're going to confiscate it from you, and we're not going to compensate you for it, and you're going to become a criminal.
The goal of our case here is to tell the ATF that they can't get away with this kind of administrative lawmaking. This isn't constitutionally permissible, and this goes against everything that our nation was founded on.
The bump stock ban turned innocent law-abiding citizens into criminals overnight, even though they were complying with the statute. And that's not right.
This case is not about where you stand on bump stocks. It's about the rule of law. It's about whether an agency can rewrite a statute and turn a law-abiding citizen into a criminal. If the ATF can ban bump stocks, any agency can ban anything.
Welcome back to Come and Talk It. And now here's Michael Cargill.
All right, so we're back and we're talking about news all around the country here. I want to go to Georgia, the Peach State. So a 13-year-old boy was manufacturing and selling ghost guns. He has been arrested after he allegedly shot and killed his 14-year-old sister with one of his own homemade firearms, according to the Douglas County, Georgia Sheriff's Office. I tell you, these stories are crazy today. I can't even make this stuff up.
13-year-old manufacturing firearms.
13-year-old manufacturing firearms. 13.
Because he was in the business of selling him, that made him a manufacturer. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. Because he's in the business of selling guns, that makes sure and making them. When you finish those, you finish them out, you're manufacturing.
And so he was a 13-year-old selling a gun to a 19-year-old.
If you take that 80% and you make it to 100%, you're a manufacturing.
Only if you sell it, right? Or
you sell it? That's right. Yeah. That's right. So two people had come to the family's home in Douglasville, about 20 miles west of Atlanta, on November 27th to purchase a gun that the 13-year-old made. Douglas County Sheriff Tim Pounds said in a news conference, he said, but instead of buying the firearm, the pair stole the gun from the 13-year-old and fled the scene. And the boy then shot at them as they were leaving. And according to the sheriff there, he said, instead, he struck his 14-year-old sister. So instead of hitting them, he struck his 14-year-old sister, who was identified, as Kira Scott, according to investigators. Authorities have arrested the 13-year-old boy brother and a 19-year-old Yusuf, whoever that is, one of the two people who had come to buy the homemade gun. And, it's just crazy. So apparently they go to the house, they try to steal a gun. He pulls out a gun, he fires at them, ends up shooting and killing his sister. 13.
That's sad.
I'm trying to think, what was I doing at 13 years old? My mindset was not like that at 13. Man, I tell you. 13.
And these aren't 3D printed guns, right? They're like,
it's like
where did he learn how to do this?
It's hard to tell, when they say ghost guns, what they what they're talking about. When you say ghost gun to me, so I'm thinking their mindset. So they're probably talking about, the little imitation Glock guns where you finish those out and you take 80% and you make it into 100%. That's what I'm assuming that they're talking about. It doesn't have a serial number on it. So, and you can have those different parts and pieces mailed to your house and stuff like that. Because not everyone wants.
Oh, you just assemble it?
Yeah, not everyone wants the government to know what they have. So which I understand. You don't want the government to know what you have, right?
No, I got nothing to hide.
You have
That's
nothing to
fine.
hide.
No,
Let me look at your phone.
Nah, that's private.
Oh, see, I thought you See, I get you at every turn. Every turn. All right.
Yes, sir.
Girlfriend, when he gets home, check his phone. I'm just saying. Wait till he goes to sleep and check his phone. He's hiding something. He's hiding something on the phone, girlfriend. I hope he listened to the show. Let's just put it out there. Okay? Yeah, you're in trouble now. Let's go to New Jersey. All right, so over in New Jersey, an off-duty, Zach, this is your story. An off-duty New Jersey officer fatally struck a pedestrian, put the body in the car, and went home.
Oh, yeah, that's messed up. And he was actually riding in his car with someone else, too, at the time.
You can't even make this story up.
25-year-old off-duty New Jersey police officer runs over, accidentally,
boom, boom, bam,
a nurse.
A nurse.
Uh-huh.
The car did it, though, right?
A nurse. The car did it. It wasn't the officers. The car did it. It's the car fault.
That's right.
I'm sorry. What's the make and model of the vehicle? Because we need to go to that dealership and protest. I'm just putting it out there.
Okay, so off-duty cop and his friend are driving. They run over the nurse, and then they stop and they try and figure out what to do. First thing they decide is to flee the scene, go back home. And then once they get home, they're like, oh, crap, we better go back and go get this body. So they went back, put the body in the trunk, went back home, and the kid told his mom about the whole situation. And then they told the dad as well, and the dad
who's a cop.
He is I think he's like a Newark lieutenant.
A lieutenant.
Something like that. And basically he's like, oh, I can't do that.
Nah, boy, y'all in trouble.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so they then reported themselves, and now they're facing charges for all kinds of stuff, like fleeing the scene, desecrating human remains.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, wow.
Trying to escape prosecution.
People forget God's always watching. Always watching.
Or dad's always watching, huh?
God's gonna get you for that.
That's right. I'm telling you. You just got to watch out. I'm telling you now. God's coming for you. God's got to tell you something. Man, that's a wild story there. That is wild. A nurse.
Uh-huh. Like a 30-something-year-old male nurse.
A nurse. Wow.
I believe.
And just died, dead.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. What a shame.
Really hit him.
Such a sad story. Sad. I do want to talk about Lubbock, Texas. I want to talk about that shooting in Lubbock because, you had some feelings about that a little bit.
A little bit. I mean, but I think we agree, right? That was.
What's your feeling?
I don't think we agree on nothing.
My feeling is
that
it was that it was wrong.
We agree the shooting was wrong. That is correct. Yes.
Oh, so now that we agree, we have common ground.
We
can build back better.
Why?
Now.
Because he wasn't protesting?
I would not break the peace that we made here today. All right. So we're talking about the Kyle Carruth shooting of Reed. What's his name? Jeremy Reed?
Chad Reed.
Chad Reed. Okay. Kyle Carruth shooting of Chad Reed in Lubbock, Texas. And what we're talking about there is there was a child custody, issue. And things that people are forgetting, which, and I've been delving deeper into the child custody thing, because I was under the impression that if it was a child custody situation where you're going somewhere to pick up your kid, that, it could be anywhere. It doesn't have to be at the designated spot. It could be anywhere. And so if the mother is hiding the kid and the father's trying to find the kid, and the father's supposed to pick up the kid at a certain time, like 3:15, like he was, and the mother seems to be playing some type of game, and then you're interfering with that. You're helping keep this father from his child at the time he's supposed to see the child. That's actually a felony in Texas. It's a felony. And so if you're committing a crime, this is going to be an interesting case, because if you're committing a crime, then you don't have that luxury of self-defense. And a lot of people are forgetting about that. But then let's eliminate that. Let's get rid of that. Let's say that they're able to get past all that. They get past the felony for, preventing this father from getting the kid, child custody. So let's go past that. So then he says, leave. You need to leave. So he goes into the house. Kyle Carruth goes into the office. And gets a shotgun. It looks like a house to me, and I hear chickens in the background. So I'm like, I don't even know none of these people, what's going on around here. But anyways, there's chickens. I hear roosters. I hear all kinds of things in the background. So it's Lubbock. Yeah, it's Lubbock, Texas. I know. Yeah, that's where you went to school, Zach, right?
I sure did.
Yeah.
Guns up.
Guns up. Boy, yeah. Rate of rash. But anyway, so he goes into the office and gets a rifle. It's a Ruger PC-9 carbine. Took me a while to figure out what that was. So Ruger PC-9, which is a 9mm. He comes out and says, leave, get off the property. So at that point, he's letting him know that it's about trespassing. Okay. You're trespassing on the property, you need to leave. And by the way, you can do that in Texas. Yes, you can use force to make someone get off your property. Not deadly force, but you can use force. So force, meaning that I can, if I want to, go into my house, get my rifle, stand outside and on my porch and say, get off my property. I cannot point the gun at you. I cannot threaten to shoot you. Can't use threatening language. And I can't fire a warning shot. So then what does Chad does? Chad, steps up toward him and bumps him with his chest.
Yeah, they start chest bumping.
Right. So and then he puts his hand by his side. And I'll be honest with you. There was a window of opportunity in there for Kyle Carruth to be able to legally shoot Chad. There's a window of opportunity.
Why?
That I feel
his life was at risk?
As an instructor, I feel that at that moment that Chad grabbed for Kyle's rifle, at that moment he could have taken a step back and shot him right then and there.
But isn't that you're assuming?
There's no assuming. He said, I will take this from you. I'll take it from you and use it on you, or something to that effect. So he used those words, and then he puts his hand on the gun. That was his opportunity right there to take a step back and shoot him. But instead, what does he do? He fires a warning shot. You cannot fire a warning shot. You're committing a crime when you do that. Either you use the gun or don't use the gun. There's no I'm gonna fire. And it sounds good for the movies. It sounds good for the news. It sounds good on social media for all these idiots in the comment section. That all sounds great, but you cannot fire warning shots. So when you do that, you're committing aggravated assault, and also possibly deadly conduct, because aggravated assault because the person that you fired the warning shot at, and then deadly conduct because of the wife, the ex-wife that was standing behind him. That round could have ricocheted and hit her. So all that's going to be a problem. So now that was his window of opportunity. It passed, it came, and it went. So then he swings him around. He takes about 4 feet, 10 feet back. And unless they can prove that Chad Reed was stepping toward Kyle, then he would have been justified. But if they can't prove that, then it's not a justifiable shooting at that point. And that's where the problem is going to be. We come back from the break, we'll talk about more. This is Michael Cargill, and you are listening to Come and Talk It.
Hey, this is AWR Hawkins, Breitbart News, and you're listening to Come and Talk It with Michael Cargill.
I'm a U.S. Army veteran with a strong sense of duty and respect for our system of government. After 12 years, I was honorably discharged and decided I would fulfill the American dream of entrepreneurship and open up a gun shop in Austin, Texas. At my shop, I teach people to be law-abiding and how to safely use their firearm. On page 46, going to talk about Penal Code Section 46.02. The day that ban went into effect, I went into my local ATF in Austin and turned over my bump stock because I'm a law-abiding citizen. But I wasn't going down without a legal fight. So that's why I reached out to NCLA.
NCLA is representing Michael Cargill because federal agencies do not have the power to rewrite statutes. Bump stocks are not machine guns. If Congress wants to change the law and ban bump stocks, it certainly can do so. But we can't have the executive branch rewriting a statute and putting people in jail for up to 10 years.
It's a problem because, this government agency has said, you know what, something that is legal is now illegal, and we're going to confiscate it from you, and we're not going to compensate you for it, and you're going to become a criminal.
The goal of our case here is to tell the ATF that they can't get away with this kind of administrative lawmaking. This isn't constitutionally permissible, and this goes against everything that our nation was founded on.
The bump stock ban turned innocent law-abiding citizens into criminals overnight, even though they were compliant with the statute. And that's not right.
This case is not about where you stand on bump stocks. It's about the rule of law. It's about whether an agency can rewrite a statute and turn a law-abiding citizen into a criminal. If the ATF can ban bump stocks, any agency can ban anything.
Welcome back to Come and Talk It. And now here's Michael Cargill.
All right, so we're talking about the Lubbock shooting of Chad Reed allegedly by Kyle Carruth there in Lubbock, Texas. And we're trying to break that down a little bit for people on how I'm looking at this video. And this is just my interpretation of what I see. I'm looking at aggravated assault, I'm looking at deadly conduct, I'm looking at law of parties, 25.03 interference with a child custody. So I think there's a lot of things going on there, and a lot of things that that a DA will have to look at, or a grand jury will have to look at. And apparently all the DAs, the district attorneys in that area, has recused themselves of this case, because I'm gonna tell you, the best way to get away with murder in Texas is to be married to a judge. That's the best way to get away with murder. Be married to a judge. I'm telling you right now, because normal citizens would not be able to get away with something, doing something like that, firing warning shots. And the reason I say it's all about criminal trespass, because you got to listen to the video and listen to Kyle Carruth's words. His words state that I told y'all to leave. I told y'all to leave. It's all about criminal trespass, all about them being on the property. And you cannot shoot someone for criminal trespass. You cannot do warning shots. And that's hard for a lot of people to understand. People think that, someone's on my property, cow tipping or whatever on my property, I can shoot them. Well, if it's criminal mischief, that's different. But for trespassing, no, you cannot. And listen to this.
I told all of y'all to leave.
We came to get his son.
He's not here.
She should have told that. She should have told that.
None of y'all should be here. None of y'all should be here. I asked you to leave. I did everything. I did not want to do any of this.
That's all about criminal trespass.
The saddest part is that they're not doing anything to help this guy. Not even the wife.
Yeah, that's messed up.
That's like so sad.
What do you mean?
They're just there nonchalant. Just
talking while he's laying dead on the ground, huh?
God.
After the shooting?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot to overcome, because you gotta. The wife has filed a civil suit for what, $50 million, I believe it was. Yeah, against so we'll see what happens
For all
there.
the chickens.
And then in this case, let me see. I think someone filed for I guess they're now divorced. Someone filed for divorce, and then someone counter filed or something like that. So now I think it's official now that they're actually divorced. The judge and Kyle Carruth. So we'll see how that plays out. And it's hard to find any information because you go on social media like the Facebook or the Twitter, and I can't even find the judge's campaign Twitter page or campaign Facebook page.
Yeah, right after reporters started investigating the whole relationship, then a bunch of pages just disappeared.
Oh yeah, they're gone.
Yep.
And that tells me people have something to hide. You know,
Yep.
you're worried about something. You're scared and you're worried. When you start taking and I think she's running for re-election. You know, she was appointed into this position, and now she's running for re-election into that position. You know, and you take your pages down during an election cycle. That's serious. Boy, that's a serious thing. That means she needs to be primaried. Needs a primary opponent. I'm telling you now. All right, so it's a lot going on there. Just you got to stay tuned to that story, and because I still say an arrest is coming. There's going to be an arrest. They have to. They got to take this. They got to arrest this guy. It's got to go to a grand jury, and a grand jury's got to decide what's going to happen. They got to do something.
What would you say your verdict would be on this?
For a grand jury's got to indict him for aggravated assault, deadly conduct, at the bare minimum.
But
the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Even if they find the final shot was justified, but the aggravated assault and deadly conduct. So it's got to be something. Can't get away scot-free. If you do, then for all the judges to all the DAs to recuse themselves of this, I'm shocked by this. Every DA in this area said, you know what, I'm going to recuse myself because I know I'm friends with, some of the people in this case. So what does that say to our system? You swore an oath, to uphold. And what does that say with Georgia? Because a DA in Georgia did the same thing. And that DA in Georgia is now being prosecuted, has been arrested, and has been charged and indicted by a grand jury for wrongdoing.
I'd turn you in too, Michael.
You would turn me in?
I'd turn you in.
I believe you.
Yeah, he would.
He would. He's not a ride or die.
Nope.
Not at all.
I'm not a narc. I'm just saying I'm doing my job.
Snitches get stitches.
Wow. See?
But yeah, but for them to recuse themselves of this, I think is astounding. I'm actually shocked by that. And what does it say to a police officer? Can a police officer do that? A police officer goes to answers a call, goes to a scene. Can a police officer say, you know what, I'm not going to arrest this person because this person is one of my family members, or I'm related to this person?
They do it all the time, don't they?
Why do some people get this opportunity, others do not? Do you not have a job to do? Can you not do your job and be impartial?
No.
Then you shouldn't be in that position. But I get it. I understand. I mean, am I wrong? Give me a call, 512-643-5483. We got a couple seconds. 512-643-5483. Give me a call and let me know. Because I find a problem with this.
I mean, bartenders hook up their friends all the time, right?
Yeah. And next week when we come back, I want to talk about the case in Midland, in Abilene, Texas. That's it. The dumpster defense. I want to talk about that because that case has not gone to trial yet. Texas has a serious problem with bringing cases to trial. That case, the Abilene, Texas dumpster defense case happened in 2018.
What is this?
We'll bring that. We're going to bring that in next week. We'll talk about that next week. Where a father and son were at a dumpster in the alley that they share, and I know you can't even make this stuff up. It's wild.
Was it Oscar the Grouch?
No shirts on. They're shirtless. They're standing in the alley. The father's got a pistol in his hand. The son's got a shotgun in his hand, and they're arguing about a mattress with another family in an alley that they share. You can't even make this stuff up. That case has yet to go to court. Wow. Yeah, it's called the dumpster defense. We got some strip mall receivers, to make, to sell with a picture of it on it. I'm telling you now, you can't even make this stuff up. It's crazy. Yeah, it's insane. All right, so Arizona students at Arizona State, the university, protesting because they don't want Kyle Rittenhouse, enrolled in the university.
They're scared.
Poor Kyle. Scared of what?
But I don't know what he might do.
What, defend himself if they try to kill him?
I'm scared of what those weak little kids might do.
Right. He should be afraid of them. They're monsters.
Those Patriots?
Patriots. Oh, my goodness.
All I can do is just sigh.
Just have to exhale.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's why we're good people here. We're good and kind people. Because all we do is we listen to what you have to say. We want you to say your piece, and we exhale.
If I go missing,
you're not going to go missing.
It'll
be someone on the left that takes you. It won't be anybody on the right.
It'll be one of your own people.
That's right. Let's go to the phone lines. Let's go to Kyle. You want to come and talk it.
Hey guys, I just wanted to talk about some of the non-legal aspects of this, but some of the things that don't really get covered in this particular case. How long did it take for EMS to even show up? Because it did not seem like there was any sort of sense of urgency amongst anybody to get this guy any kind of aid. I don't know. Has anyone on that scene at any point ever really liked the victim?
And we're talking about Lubbock, Texas, correct?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah, the guy on the ground that he was there in a custody dispute with his old lady, and then Kyle comes out and blows him away. Also we got to start a defense school that's just dedicated to how to deal with situations with guys named Kyle. Basically, you just got to run as fast as you can.
Hey, your name's Kyle, isn't it, sir?
Is your name Kyle?
It might be, yeah. Yeah, that's it.
So we need to defend ourselves against you too, right?
There is no defense. That's the thing. Like apparently, Kyle's are Thanos here. So
okay,
free to do what they want.
Right, I got you. I got you though. I got you.
So all the banter that went on between the current girlfriend and the ex-wife and the Kyle, it was like it was so odd to me. It seemed like they just expected that the guy was going to get up off the ground. It's like, okay, you big goon, let's get you home and put some beer back in. It's like there's no reality.
Yeah, that current wife didn't seem to be too phased.
Not at all. Not at all. And it kind of reminded me a little bit of the Pennsylvania couple, who reality didn't set in for them until, what was it, the sixth shot tagged the husband.
Well, maybe they're in shock. Maybe they're just totally in shock, possibly.
It could be that, but I think that people are just like so desensitized. I think that a lot of people are so used to just reacting to stuff on Twitter that they don't know how to react to things in the real world anymore, maybe. I don't know.
All right, Kyle, thank you. I appreciate the phone call there. I want to remind people to always lock your guns up. Use a safe, use a lock them up, keep them away from kids. And don't do the Baldwin. Don't be like Alec Baldwin. Guns don't go off by themselves. They go off when you pull the trigger. As always, more guns equals less crime. You go out there and you buy yourself a gun. You've been listening to Come and Talk It with Michael Cargill.